Dennis and the minister here at Unity, and so glad to be able to spend some time with you again this morning. And I hope you enjoyed that little video of our caroling last week. Although, you know, our Unity and Naperville peeps, they will not stay in their cars. They had to get out and mingle with one another.
Well, they stayed distanced.
I agree. They did a great job of practicing distancing and wearing their masks while we were singing caroling with Kevin Conlon as our song lead. That was an awesome day. Thanks, everybody. And again, big props to Danny Dwyer, who won with his...
Impressive
was it scissors?
victory.
Yeah.
Rock, paper,
yeah,
scissors.
way to go. Everybody's sweaters were so great, though. That was very fun. So we're here to have some more fun this morning, to open up our hearts and minds to the spiritual dimension that's here all around us, as Jesus would say, and an opportunity to have the experience of heaven today. So we'd like to do that first by just singing, because not only does the energy of the music enliven us and remind us of that power of God within us, but the words are so important to help saturate our consciousness and change our thoughts to the truth. So if you'll stand as you're able, come on, get out of bed, stand up for a little bit. Let's sing. The words will be up here on the screen.
Good morning, everyone. I like that, Kitty. Saturate your consciousness, right? Let's just do that with some songs this morning. Here we go. Way up, higher, way up, here I go. Way up, before I know it, I am rising to new horizons. Way up, higher, way up, here I go. Way up, before I know it, I am rising to new horizons. Way up, and I am graduating to another level. I am ready to rise, 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 rise. I cut the ropes, fear is falling from me. I am beginning to fly, 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 fly. Way up, higher, way up, here I go. Way up, before I know it, I am rising to new horizons. Way up, yes, I am graduating to another level. I am ready to rise, 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 rise. I cut the ropes, fear is falling from me. I am beginning to fly, 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 fly. Way up, come on, higher, way up, here I go. Way up, before I know it, I am rising to new horizons. Way up, higher, way up, here I go. Way up, before I know it, I am rising to new horizons. Way up. Woo! Fly, 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 fly. Are you way up there? Are you way up there? I hope so, in spirit. That you have your peace, your joy, your harmony, all in good flow this morning. And just in case it's not, how about we sing a song about getting into the flow and the wonder of that flow? You guys know this song. I hope so. But if you don't, the words are on the screen. Oh, there you go. Wait. Wrong key.
I almost did that.
Because we're taking it up. We'll go up half a step in key. How's that? There it is. Let's stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. A stream of good, stream of good flows through me. Stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. It is rushing, it is pouring, it is flowing. It is God, it is good. I am floating, moving with the water. My source, my supply, my stream of good. Go, Kevin. Oh, my stream of good. It is rushing, it is pouring, it is flowing. It is God, it is good. I am floating, moving with the water. My source, my supply, my stream of good. Moving with the water. My source, my supply, my stream of good. Moving with the water. My source, my supply, oh, my stream of good.
In the flow. In the flow. I hope you can feel that this morning, and just trust that if you're not there yet, hopefully by the end of our service today, if you just open your heart and trust in that flow, you will have that experience. Will you join me in prayer? That's one of the ways that we begin entering into the flow. Just close your eyes for a moment. Bring your attention to your heart. Trust that that is the open space, the connector to the Spirit of God. And together we know that this loving presence, this stream of good, is here to provide our every need. We're so grateful, God, to know that wherever we are and whatever life is expressing as, that there is the fullness of divine strength and life, wisdom and peace, love, guidance, and creativity. And from this place of abundance, we give thanks, knowing there is nothing we need do but simply allow. For this stream of good that flows forever, we say thank you, God. Amen. Will you join me in speaking our invocation? The words are up here on the screen. Together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And so it is.
You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. such a holy place.
You are blessed peace, blessed peace
Is all that you are.
You are blessed peace, blessed peace
Is all that you are.
Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such
A state of grace.
Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such
A holy place. Such a holy place.
You are
Deepest joy, deepest joy is all that you are. You are deepest joy, deepest joy is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are
sacred love, sacred love.
is all that you are. And you are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are.
My beloveds, thank you for your patience. A new mic cable is in our future. So I'm just wondering if you had a chance to go to heaven this week. Anybody? Anybody? Kim Char, you were in heaven this week? We are talking about spiritual versus religious views of different concepts that we talk about here at Unity, and that many spiritual traditions talk about in their own way. And this week, we're talking about the idea of heaven. I wanted you to hear what Jesus had to say about heaven last week. We look at Jesus as our way shower and someone who demonstrated living a life as a fully Christed being, a full expression of his divine nature. And so we pay attention to how he lived his life and the things that he said. And interestingly enough, he didn't talk about harps and gold streets. He talked about the kingdom of heaven being here now. And that he didn't really talk too much about the afterlife. He talked more about how to experience that dimension of heaven while we're living in the physical dimension. That's pretty extraordinary when you think about it. And so I was asking you last week to just be more mindful that the physical and the spiritual are actually integrated. And it's difficult necessarily to see it with our eyes, but we can know it with our heart. We can feel it intuitively when we are consciously trusting that there is an experience of heaven here and around us. I think that's what Jesus was talking about when he was teaching us to pray, and he said, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." And I also promised you that this week we would talk a little bit about what heaven is about when we leave the body. I know that some of you have decided that this is the end and that there is nothing after the body dies. And honestly, I don't have any proof for us either way today. So I honor whatever beliefs you hold. My personal belief is that I am an eternal being and that I will be having a new experience when I leave this body and lay it down. And the questions that many people have around heaven, we feel like we can't have answered because there's nobody that can prove it to us, right? And I agree. I don't have proof for you today. But what I am going to offer are some experiences that have come through people who have had what they call near-death experiences, where the body has died for a few minutes, a few hours even. One even woke up in the morgue. So their experience was to leave the body and come back into it. I also share some thoughts from those who feel like they are connected to the spiritual dimension more easily and that have had the chance to connect and commune with those on the other side, so to speak. And even from a psychologist who's written a few books and has trained others to help people enter a level of hypnosis where they're able to access memories at a level of consciousness about a time before this life, but after a previous life. So they're coming from an idea or a belief in reincarnation. So we'll talk about some of those hypnosis sessions as well today. And all I ask is that you keep an open mind and listen to your heart. And whatever resonates with you, there you go. That's yours to hold on to for now. You never know when your ideas might change. So I want to start today by just talking about the difference between the body and the spirit. And when we have this shift, many of us grieve greatly over the loss of a loved one when their body dies. The Dalai Lama laughed about it when he was asked about his death. He said it will just be like changing clothes. He didn't see it as any big deal, that his consciousness would continue to be aware, but his body would be laid down. And it is kind of an opportunity for our spiritual self, which is a being of light and energy, to rise up above this lower, slower dimension and this physical body, almost like we're the hand that has been inside a glove, and now we're coming out of that glove. And as we do that, one of the stories that I heard was that there is a true conscious detachment from the body, as if it doesn't really matter to us. There's no standing around fretting over the body. It's a realization that that was never me. And some of the things I want to say today, I'm saying because that wisdom or point of view could actually help us while we're here on earth. So as I share these different experiences, keep asking yourself, what or how does this idea apply to how I might be living my life now? Can we walk around as a hand in a glove and not take this body so seriously that we fear it or we hate it or we feel that it's worthless? Because it is not the truth of who we really are. It's simple, as the Bible says, it's just a temple for the Holy Spirit of us, the presence of God expressing as our spirit. So we leave the body, and the first thing, especially if you've struggled with health in your body, the first thing that people notice is they feel so free and without pain any longer. There's no more limitation to who they are. We're hearing stories that They feel whole for the first time in their life, and they never lose their awareness. The consciousness that you're listening to me with now is the same consciousness that will leave the body at some point. You as a person remain. It's just that your point of view changes a little bit, and you have a broader perspective of what's happening around you. Anita Moorjani had a near-death experience, and while she was above and outside of her body, she was able to hear and feel and know what was going on with people all around her, even though they weren't near her body. So family way down the hall having conversations with the doctor she was aware of. She was able to hear her brother's thoughts on a plane who was flying to be with her before she died. She was able to feel the emotions of her husband as he was standing and grieving for her beside her bed. So her perspective was no longer just Anita. It was able to expand to those around her. We also trust that when we leave the body, all the frets and worries of life stay here. So, the things that keep you up at night, you're worried about your kids or you're worried about money, those things no longer matter. And they, those of us who struggle or we're tied into this death block with our boss or some type of person we're in conflict with in our life, it suddenly has disappeared as having any meaning to us. I think a lot about how my dad must have felt a huge release from his memories of fighting in Korea that I didn't even know were weighing on him as a sense of sadness and anxiety until later in his life when he started to share and show emotion. And I just was grateful to know that he was free of that, and we can trust that. There are emotions that flood our being, or actually may have always been there. It's just now we don't have the human body to get in the way of that. Feelings of bliss and peace and joy and love. Many talk about color, seeing color in flowers that they've never seen before, that they couldn't even describe to us. They talk about this music in the air and a pulsing rhythm, energy all around them. And what's very common is that people talk about a light that is more brilliant than our physical eyes could even stand, and yet they absorb it. A light that is not coming from a single source like the sun, but it's just everywhere. And it is made of love. That is the most common thing that they feel, is this energy of love all around them. Life is just alive and alert and awake and joyous for us. I think that's what the Apostle Paul was trying to say when he was writing to the Corinthians up here on the screen. He said, "For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known." That is the opportunity that we seek. What if we could have that experience here and now? What can we do to know that heavenly experience of who we really are here and now? Eben Alexander was a neurosurgeon, is a neurosurgeon, and maybe he stopped practicing, I'm not really sure, since his near-death experience. He's written a couple of books. And what he noticed, being a scientist, was that when he returned, it turns out he understood that the kingdom had always been all around him here on earth. It had just been hidden from his view. It was that this physical dimension is vibrating at a frequency that is hiding the energy of spirit. And it's easy to lose touch when we enter into the physical body with this spiritual dimension that's around us. He wrote, "This other vastly grander universe isn't far away physically, but simply exists on a different frequency. It's right here, right now, but we're unaware of it because we are, for the most part, closed to these frequencies on which it manifests. Like understands like. So frequency understands frequency. The universe is so constructed that to truly understand any part of its many dimensions and levels, you have to become a part of that dimension. You have to open yourself to an identity with that part of the universe that you already possess, but which you may not have been conscious of." So it's the idea that we're not really going anywhere when we leave the body. We're just in a greater state of awakening. Where, as Jesus said last week, I talked about how he said the kingdom of heaven is spread out here on the earth, all around us. We just aren't able to see it. So just take a deep breath for a moment and breathe in that breath of heaven. feel like we've got one foot in the spiritual dimension and one foot here in this physical dimension, and all the goodness of both dimensions are available to us here and now. When we leave the body, it's not like we enter into another type of body as much as we just become pure consciousness. That is what we are. Something Judith Orloff wrote. She was quoting Max Planck, who's known as the father of quantum mechanics. So we're looking at physics here when he said, "I regard matter as derivative from consciousness." Judith says if he's right, it makes sense that when our bodies or matter are gone, we will become pure consciousness again. That we create our life with our consciousness, but it is temporary. And that when we return to our source as the source that we are, we become what we were to begin with. The experience might be that your consciousness just fills all of space, that suddenly you can be aware of anything and everything that you want to know. That you have a question, you turn your thought in that direction, the answer is immediately there. It's also about having this understanding of what the universe is all about, getting a big picture of what existence really means, and something that, even though we maintain our unique identity, it feels like we're also one with the one mind of God. That's pretty extraordinary. Again, can I have that sense of oneness while I'm here on earth? Our perceptions of heaven here and now may differ a little than those who have felt like they've been there. One person, actually more than one person, has said, you will see what you expect to see. If you were raised in a religion where you are going to move into a Christian heaven, then you will see that if it's still of strong meaning in your consciousness. You will see a Hindu heaven or a Buddhist heaven, if there is such a thing in your consciousness, and just realize that that is up to you to create. Some would say that there are those who need kind of an adjustment period, that there's a shock to their system as they leave the body, and they're not ready to acknowledge who and what they really are, and so they experience a much more earthly environment. Matter, trees and nature around us, even buildings, whatever it takes for us to feel comfortable and at ease while our soul is adjusting to our surroundings. But at some point, we'll start to get more aware of what the spiritual dimension is about, and we no longer need that tangibility to things. It becomes much more of a pure consciousness experience. Michael Newton was a psychologist that tapped into this level of hypnosis, and he discovered that people were telling him stories about their life between lives. So they had left a body, they were in this spiritual or heavenly dimension, and it was before they came back to have this life where they were a client sitting in his office. And so one of the things that he wrote was that heaven is a place of pure thought, a continuous feeling of a powerful mental force directing everything in uncanny harmony. Souls contact one another just by thinking of them. Here, no one is a stranger, and there is a total lack of hostility toward anyone. We recognize a universal bond between us, which makes us all the same. That is something that he heard over and over again. He worked with thousands and thousands of clients over like 25 years before he ever started writing about the very common experiences that people were sharing. One of the things that Spirit would say, and having near-death experience, the people returning would say, is that you can still remain connected as a spiritual being to your loved ones on earth. And vice versa, that we can talk to them and they will hear us. They are eager to help us. It's not like they hover with us every minute of every day, but they're available to us if we should call for them. And it is their desire to be there for us and help us as they can. This has been an interesting week. And I really thought I wasn't going to be with you here today because I thought I would be mourning the death of my mom. And yet, she's still here. And I finally got a chance to connect with her on the phone at the hospital, where she still is today. And she was breathless and hard for her to even hold a phone. But she wanted to tell me something very important, that while she was waiting to be transferred to another hospital, she heard voices in her head. And it became very clear suddenly that one voice said, "Better days are ahead." And her response was, "Kitty, it was so wonderful. It was so wonderful." And you have to know my mom to know that the tone in her voice was as if she were in a heavenly dimension when she experienced that voice. You know, she said, I guess it was God. And I said, maybe it was. And maybe it was a guide. Maybe it was a loved one. Who cares? At the right time, the spiritual dimension was able to break through and give her what she needed, which was a sense of assurity and peace. And now when I talked to her on the phone, she said, "Pray that God will talk to me again." She's kind of addicted to that, that feeling, that connection. And that's what Spirit is about, is being there to support us if we only ask. We don't just lay around and eat bonbons or listen to harp music. We're busy. We have things to do in the spiritual dimension after we've left the body. One of the things is to take some time to review this human experience that we've just been through, and that we check to see how we fulfilled our intention that we'd set for ourselves when we first came here. It's an opportunity for us to question, to think about how we might do something differently next time if you're a believer in reincarnation. But it's an opportunity also to get advice from other spiritual guides about what you could do differently. But we do set an intention for ourselves when we come here, and I'll be talking more about that yet this morning. It's also just as important as living is the way that we die. You know, some of us die quickly, some of us take a long time, maybe through a terminal illness. Some of us die old, some of us die young. But even the death process is important to our own soul's growth. And that if they were given a choice, they would have gone through that death process again, because they knew how important it was for the spirit as they continue to evolve and unfold in their being. They talk about how sometimes, whether you live a long or short life, it doesn't really matter. They get what they need within that period of time. And that sometimes those who live a short life are doing so as an assistant to those who survive here on earth, who are left to deal with that loss of a loved one. So just take a moment and think about, have I lost a child? Have I lost someone who died way too soon, in my opinion? And is it possible that they were here just for me? And how I now move forward in my life. Something that we all know, we don't all, but if you have come from a religious background, you may have been taught a belief about hell or punishment or judgment of some kind when you die. We've already talked about hell here a few weeks ago, if you want to go back and look at our YouTube channel and listen to that one, where we don't agree that there is a place of punishment and separation from God, because we believe God is love and omnipresence, and we can never be separate from that presence. So what we do understand is that if there is any form of judgment in the spiritual dimension, it's coming from ourself as we review our experience here. If there's anything that we miss doing, or that that ended up happening like we didn't want, those who were criminals in this life or took someone's life while they were here, it's an opportunity for them to reflect and consider how they could have done something differently. They may even take some time to be in solitary reflection and just really be with that. Maybe have a guide with them to help them see how they could have overcome that. Realize that when those type of things happen in this life, it is not the soul that is perpetrating. It is the human that the soul was not able to overcome. Our goal here is to come in as spirit and be in a symbiotic relationship with our human ego, but to train the ego to listen to the spirit. And sometimes we just don't get there. For whatever reason, we're just not able to overcome the brain. It may be a malfunction, it may be a disease, it may just be an upbringing of some kind. And so it's an opportunity as spirit to think, now next time, how could I do that differently so that I am the one that is able to guide that human nature? And if necessary, set up an opportunity to experience the opposite for me in the next life. George Anderson is one who is considered a medium and has helped many families reconnect with loved ones on the other side. And he said, "We are the only judge of our performance. There is no hell or punishment. We place our souls on a path of understanding and forgiveness to learn from mistakes and move closer to the infinite light." He's not the only one that I've heard talk about moving closer to the infinite light, even in the spiritual dimension, that there are levels of consciousness in heaven where maybe based on our soul's maturity, we are more or less aware of the allness, the one mind. Some of us may seek to hang on to that individual identity, while others are seeking to truly connect with the one that is and be the one that is. So again, it's up to the soul to choose, but it seems like in several different resources I've connected with that the soul is seeking to ultimately be the one again and to have that level of consciousness. I tend to think that God is creator and that we are here to create and experience what we create, but we also do that in the spiritual dimension, that we can choose to continue to create in such ways that we do it on our own, we set goals for ourselves, or we might co-create with other souls, all with the idea of understanding ourselves as souls better. However, I've heard that it's much more easy to progress in our unfolding by coming here to create. That this physical dimension is much more of a challenge and offers us opportunities that we don't experience when you're in the realm of bliss. Can you see how everything that might rub us the wrong way here is really just an opportunity for us to transform it into a heavenly experience? What's rubbing you the wrong way right now that you might look at differently and choose to turn it into something of spirit while you're here on earth? Whatever it is that you're working on, the decisions about your forward progress are completely yours to make. No one else is telling you where you should go or how you should live. It's just about staying focused on that desire of experiencing the fullness of God in our lives. And Anita Moorjani realized how important it was that she live her own unique life, both in the spiritual dimension, but especially here on earth. She wrote in her book after having a near-death experience, "I saw my life intricately woven into everything I'd known so far. My experience was like a single thread woven through an infinite tapestry. I knew I owed it to myself and all life to always be an expression of my own unique essence." Over and over again, she got that message that it was important to come back here and be herself, that her unique expression was important to the whole, and so is yours. Who is trying to hold you back from being yourself? No. Who are you allowing to hold you back from being yourself? It's your own unique identity that you came here to live. So there's a few lessons here that we've learned from this realm of heaven that we can apply now. Most importantly, being yourself, living from your own identity, and doing it without fear of rejection, without fear of repercussion. It's about not taking this earthly life so seriously. As soon as we leave the body, we will go, "Oh my Lord, what in the world was I thinking? Why did I take that so seriously?" So why not start now? Lighten up, laugh more, have more fun with your life. Enjoy this tangible experience that we're having right now that won't last forever, as we all know. It's something where it's our opportunity here and now to stop with the us versus them. I love you, and I am sad when I see us go to us versus them on Facebook. A lot of that this year. A lot of that. Us versus them. There's only God. It's all God, and it's pure love. So we let go of the judgment of others just because they don't think the same way that we think. We let go of the judgment of people after they pass, saying, wow, they really blew it in their life. They should have done this, or it would have been better if they'd done this, or not married that person, or they married, why, what? Really, not our business. We have no idea what their goals for spirit are. We have no idea what their struggles within them in this human experience were. We let them go and bless them on their way, trusting that they accomplished exactly what they needed to accomplish while they were here. And even those that we, label as criminals, that we want to judge, are expressing from a disease, whether it's a disease of the mind or a disease of the emotions. And it's coming from their own self-hatred. So what they need from us is not more contempt, but more love and forgiveness to help them find that higher self again. Let's get a head start on the life review. Let's focus on us while we're here. Let's take care of our own life right now and realize that this exploration of heaven is really about how I can live my life more fully now, before I leave. Whether you believe in reincarnation or not, let's make the most of this. And one of the ways we can do that is to regularly question what our beliefs are. And are they really valid? Do I still believe that? Where did that belief come from? Has this been handed down to me from generations before me and my family? Are they still true? Do they really serve me? Do they really serve the greater good? This is a chance to find out what's been indoctrinated in us that is not serving our soul's growth. So ask yourself what you believe and whether it's really serving. Ask yourself, what if I asked that person that I'm in conflict with to actually come and be with me in this life to help me grow? Consider that the person that rubs you the wrong way is actually your best pal in the spiritual dimension. And they're here simply because you asked them to come and help you grow. It's something that one of Michael Newton's clients mentioned in his hypnosis session, where he realized the reason for coming here was that the last life he had, he didn't do so well in overcoming his fear of failure and rejection. So he wanted to work on that in this life. And he wound up with a mother who was constantly criticizing him and working against his self-image. And he was back in that place of fear of rejection and fear of failure. And it turns out that in this session, he was able to see that she had come at his request, that she was there to help him overcome that, and that even she had experienced the same kind of life experience previously. And so she was the best one to be there for him and help him experience this now so that his soul could grow beyond it. Just check in with your life and see who is around you that is perhaps here to help you, that is for you instead of against you. This client wrote that it's not about you. He's talking about people rejecting him. He said, it's not about you. Don't take it personally. If other people can't be in my space, it's about them, not about me. I am supposed to be more me, and I have to lighten up. I'm too serious. I need to be more of my true self. No one will reject myself. Myself is connected to my eternal me. This is a really difficult thing to comprehend. Can we all relate to that? Find out if you're living the life that you want to be living. You've still got time to make adjustments. Did you come here to be fulfilled by sharing a certain gift or talent or explore some avenue of life that you have put off? There's still time for you to do this. Don't doubt. If you died tomorrow, would you regret not having pursued something that you are leaving undone in your life? Are there any positive changes that you can still make in your life so that when you go through that life review process, you'll say, yeah, I did not waste my time here. I actually accomplished what I came here for. Your heart knows what that is. Give yourself time in the quiet and ask that question. Michael Newton wrote that the key to growth is understanding that we are given the ability to make mid-course corrections in our life and having the courage to make necessary changes when what we are doing is not working for us. By conquering fear and taking risks, our karmic pattern adjusts to the effects of the new choices. Enjoy this physical life experience now as much as you can, giving yourself opportunities to notice when you struggle loving others and asking yourself, what are my beliefs that are keeping me from loving that person? And what is the truth about them in spirit and me in spirit? And let that love overcome that conflict, which is really just about fear. One last thing Anita Moorjani said was, I knew that the only purpose of life is to be ourself, live our truth, and be the love that we are. I am standing here today in this religious organization called Unity. I call it religious because it's organized. It's a group of people. We belong to a denomination. But we're here in order to give you an opportunity to take what resonates that you hear here and then do the spiritual piece of it. Go home and apply it to your daily life. That is when you bring heaven to earth, is when you live as a spiritual being having a human experience. We're here, we describe ourselves, our very purpose, as a vibrant, inclusive community for personal growing and joyful knowing of our oneness with spirit and each other. Let's take some time in the quiet now and see if we can't meditate on this idea of heaven here now. I'll invite you to just close your eyes and allow your body to relax with a deep breath. Breathing in the breath of spirit. Breathing out any fear or feelings of limitation. I'm breathing in heaven. I'm breathing as spirit. The truth of me is already whole. I am expressing the fullness of God. My thoughts are open to God thoughts. My body is open to God life. My circumstances are part of the God flow. My heart is open to God peace. my perception is open to God love. My life is one with divine goodness. I am awake in every moment to the presence of heaven here and now. I can rest and relax in the knowing that all is well, for all is God. This is the truth of my being, and now I allow it to be. Amen. This is a time in our service where we remember God's infinite good and how it continually makes itself available to us in such a way that we become a channel for that good and share our tithes and our love offerings. I always encourage people that if they feel this need and this desire to be generous with their gifts, that they do it from a place of gratitude, knowing where it comes from, and we bless it as we give, knowing what it has the potential to do. If what you receive here as part of our Unity community is raising you up, know that the gifts that you give back to us help us continue to raise all those around us. So let's bless our offering. The words are up here on the screen. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And if you're watching online today, you're welcome to give through our Facebook donate button, or you can go to our website, unityinnaperville.org, and the donate button is there on the homepage. If you'd like to mail a check, you can send it to P.O. Box 9733 in Naperville, and the zip is 60567. We're so grateful for your gifts.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you. You know, it's interesting that we're talking about heaven today. We have a beloved member of our community, one of our board members actually, Jeff Benoit, who lost his husband this week to COVID. And so we just hold Jeff in our hearts today, and Carl, knowing that even though they're on different paths now, that they are both one in spirit, one in heart, and that we surround them with our love as they begin this new adventure in life in different ways, trusting that they know they are supported in spirit and with our love. We have an opportunity to stay connected together this week in a few different ways. One of the things I want to do first off is just welcome you if it's your first time to Unity in Naperville. So glad that you found us online. And we can keep you informed about what's happening here throughout the week with our weekly emailed newsletter. So if you'd like to receive that on Tuesdays, please go to our website at unityinnaperville.org, and you can just add your email address to our mailing list on the homepage there. Also, if you have Netflix, you might want to watch My Octopus Teacher tonight. It's a movie that's on that channel because we're going to be talking about that movie and some of the spiritual joys of it in a discussion tomorrow night, Monday night. So see if you can sneak some time in to watch My Octopus Teacher and then meet us on Zoom tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. You can start by going to unitycommunityconnect.com or just start with our, it looks like we're going to start with our website, unityinnaperville.org, and then click on the event calendar, click on Monday, which will be the 14th, and you'll see the event where you can click and get a connection in the Zoom meeting to join us and discuss this. Also, you can keep coming back for lunchtime at Tuesdays and Thursdays. Kim Char, anybody got anything new to eat?
I've seen a lot of snacking. We have cookies happening this time of year.
'Tis the season.
A lot of snacking, not sandwiches and
Yeah.
salads, I must say.
Yeah. If you find yourself just really sick of the isolation, then I would encourage you to get into our unitycommunityconnect.com site. Choose the Lunch Together channel any Tuesday or Thursday at noon, and you'll have a way into the Zoom room there where you can be with other people and just talk about whatever's on your heart. So I hope you'll do that with us this week.
Even if you drop in for just 5 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
Just say
Somewhere
hey.
between noon and 1, they'll be there for you. Also, I'll be holding another healing service this week on Thursday at 7 o'clock, and it's an opportunity for us to pray over your prayer requests for physical healing. So if you would like to email me what those requests are, you can start right now or anytime between now and Thursday at 7 to prayer@unityinnaperville.org, and we will be praying over those. But we'll also take some time at the beginning of the service to talk about the spiritual principles behind healing. It's important that as we try to understand or experience a healing in the body, that we know what's actually happening to us in the spiritual dimension as we pray. So join me on Thursday night at 7, and we'll talk about that and also pray for your requests. If you don't have any prayer requests, come anyway. It's a good learning experience, and we need your prayerful consciousness to support those who are calling in. We'll have ability to text in your requests that night, so I hope you'll be there with me Thursday at 7. We live stream like we're doing right now, so just go to our website, unityinnaperville.org, and look for the website or the live stream. If you haven't been part of the creative writing process here at Unity, you can stop in twice a month, and it's happening this Saturday at 10 o'clock for Courageous Writers. A good chance for you to practice those skills. That might be one of those things that you've always wanted to do, but you've been putting off. So here's a chance to play with some others who are doing the same thing. There's no pressure. You don't have to perform in any way. So Saturday at 10 a.m., unitycommunityconnect.com. It's in their own Courageous Writers channel where there's a Zoom room waiting for you. And just want you to remember that we are having a Christmas Eve service as a live stream here from the sanctuary. Do we have a time yet?
Oh, no.
Okay, we've been saying 7 o'clock, but it might change since we're going to be doing a live stream. You can, if you miss it, then you could always watch it later. So just keep paying attention to our event calendar or checking in here with us or on our website, and we'll let you know what time. But for sure, Wednesday evening sometime, December 24th. And one last, I don't, no, it's not Wednesday for sure. Quick, somebody tell me. 17 plus 7 is 24, so yeah, it's Thursday. If you could only live in my head. Oh, my goodness. And if you are feeling like you could use some prayer support yourself right now, we have chaplains ready to pray with you today. So just send your name and phone number to prayer@unityinnaperville.org and ask them to call you, and they will be available between 12:30 and 1 to give you a call back. So feel free to do that. Lots of things going on our calendar all the time. Just stay in touch with unityinnaperville.org and click the event calendar to see what's coming up. I just feel like there was one more thing, then I know everything. We're all good? Everybody's good? Got anything to say, band? Anything you want us to know?
Looking forward to Octopus.
Okay, well, I'll be back with you in a minute here. Yeah, so, long story. So, yeah, we're good. Let's have a song. We'll have a closing affirmation. And here's the thing I forgot to mention. We're not going to stay here to do the, text and talk kind of thing, but I will meet you in the chat room afterwards if you want to talk more about heaven or whatever's on your mind. So let me give you that. Do we have something that, Cindy, a slide that says unitycommunityconnect.com we could throw up in front of them just so they have that address? And we're going to be in the live stream chat channel. So we'll see you in a minute. I'll talk to you more about that yet. What's our song?
Blessed always.
And that is the truth. That's the heavenly truth. Let's sing.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen.
Joy is part of the heavenly experience. Would you know that every time you feel joy, you are in heaven? It's as simple as that. Whenever you feel love, you are in heaven. So let's speak these words together as a reminder for this week. I am an eternal being, and love is the path to my best life. I hope you'll know that for yourself this week. Keep looking for heaven all around you. Love you guys. Hope to see you in the chat room, unitycommunityconnect.com, and let's talk some more. There's a live stream, there's a Zoom link there in that channel. So see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.